Thank you. Okay, so like I mentioned, the things that we'll be going over today is overall account navigation and management. We'll be doing 4 different test cases of how to place an order, how to edit an order, how to enter service statistics, and then how to pay an invoice as well. So a couple quick things before I switch over screens and we actually log into the Heartland Hub. I did want to share a couple reminders related to logging into the new system. So a Heartland Hub account will be created for contacts who need access to order, to submit monthly statistics, and also pay invoices. So within this new system, you can do 3 of those different functions. You can order, you'll be submitting your monthly stats, and you can also pay your invoices through there as well. So each user will need a unique login to access the system. So a couple quick things to note with that. If you don't have a unique email on file with us, please reach out to our customer service team at orders@2harvest.org to ensure that we have your contact information and we get you login information for Heartland Hub as well. The primary contact for your program will still receive all confirmation emails related to your program's orders. So if you have numerous shoppers or folks with login information, if numerous people are placing orders, that primary contact will still get that email. And just another note, we will be sending user login credentials. We will be sending that out next week. So please stay tuned for an email where we will share out your user login information to actually log into Heartland Hub. So it'll be email and password information. And we'll also be including the delivery day or days in your delivery window in that communication as well. And then we will be sending the actual live link to Heartland Hub out on Monday, April 4th. We'll be sending it out that morning. So we'll send, a mass communication out that says, here is the link to Heartland Hub. It is live and you can go ahead and click on it and log into the system as well. All right, so I'm going to switch screens here and get us over to log in to the Heartland Hub. So when we go in and switch over to our new online ordering system, Heartland Hub, this is the login screen. So as you'll note, you'll have your email and password to log in. If you forget your password, you can go ahead and click forget password and it'll guide you through resetting your password. And we do have specific instructions on how to reset your password with screenshots and things like that as well. So I'm going to go ahead and get us logged in here. Whoops, give me 1 second here. Okay, so this is the home screen of Heartland Hub. And as you can see, there's a couple different things that I want to point out and also share as well. So here is the message board. As you can see, this is similar to Agency Express where we will have a message board functionality. So we'll be able to highlight different updates or training opportunities, closure dates, things like that, as well. Essentially any pertinent information will live here for reference. So for example, I just put out all of our training sessions right now, just so you can see what the message board will look like. We can also insert direct links to things as well. So that's the first thing I wanted to point out and share as well. So there are also a couple different menu options up at the top here. So Agency Zone, this is a direct link out to our Agency Zone landing page for all resources for agency partners. User guide, if we click on this, all of the training materials for Heartland Hub are linked directly within the system as well. So if you're needing a refresher or you want to review any training materials, that is all referenced here under the user guide section. If you click on contact us, that'll hyperlink directly and open up an email to orders@2harvest.org. So that's our customer service team. We also have our contact information listed down here as well for reference. So again, our email for our customer service team, as well as our 2 phone numbers as well, and another direct link to Agency Zone. We also have our customer service hours and our pickup hours at our Brooklyn Park facility as well. And if we navigate back to the home screen, I will review the different fields here under new order and program account as well, but I first just wanted to share the other 3. So when you initially log in, one thing to note is you will just have one unique login for all of the accounts that you're associated with. So you'll no longer have to have a program code or account or have numerous logins for the different programs that you're operating under. If you're associated and you shop for different accounts, you will see them in your drop-down menu here. So for example, myself, I'm set up as a test shopper as Leah. So I am a shopper for all of these different accounts here. So I have access to choose from an order for all of these different accounts. So we're going to go ahead and navigate under program account. I'm going to select our test account for today, which is going to be ABC Food Shelf. And I'm going to go under program account here. So it'll load shortly here. Give it 1 second. As I mentioned, things are a little bit slow with our testing environment, so I'm just going to reload it here. Okay, so program accounts. When you select from the drop-down menu the program that you are going to be shopping for, or if you want to pay an invoice, or just look at the general program account information, you can go ahead and select it, and then it'll populate up here. And then the drop-down, the different options here on the side will also review those as well. So unsubmitted orders. So this section is unsubmitted orders are reserved for your program for 24 hours or until the order deadline, whichever comes first. And after the 24 hours, the order is automatically deleted and returned to stock. You can use the unsubmitted orders page to continue shopping or check out any unsubmitted orders before the 24-hour period or the order deadline as well. So again, these are just unsubmitted orders. So for example, if you are shopping in the system this afternoon, but you want to finish the order tomorrow morning, it would populate here under unsubmitted orders if you didn't move forward and fully check out. So that's what this section is here. You can click on continue to bring you to back to the shopping list or directly to the checkout process. And we'll go more in depth in this when we place a test order as well. Under order history, all submitted orders can be found and reviewed on this order history page. So any orders directly associated with the account that you are currently selected for. So these are all of the previously submitted orders for the ABC Food Shelf, for example. If you want to reference any submitted orders, you go ahead and click on that sales order number, and it'll bring you into your order where you can review any information as well. And just a note, this is one area where you can print an order for reference that you have submitted. And we will go more in depth on what's on the screen and editing or cancel as we go through that test case. Here under the invoice section, in the invoice section, you can review all invoices paid and unpaid for your program. Invoices will be posted in Heartland Hub the morning of delivery or pickup, and will also be emailed to the billing contact for your program and agency as well. And again, when we go through the test case of paying an invoice, we'll click into that, and I will show you guys what that looks like as well. For reference, I also wanted to mention any outstanding invoices from previous orders in Agency Express, you still can continue to pay those how you've previously been submitting payment. So I want to note that as well, even though we're going live with this system on Monday, April 4th, if you have any outstanding invoices from Agency Express, you can continue to pay those how you've previously been submitting those, and the link on Agency Zone will still be live to submit that payment as well. The return policy section here is just our return policy that is displayed. And if you have any questions related to returns or how this works, you can feel free to contact our customer service team with any questions. Under the service statistics section, this is where you will enter service statistics for each month, and you can also view history of all of the statistics entered in Heartland Hub as well. And again, we will go more in depth in this section once we go through a test case as well. For reports, we have reporting functionality within Heartland Hub, which is something we're very excited about. The one thing to note is the reports will only be for orders that are placed within Heartland Hub. So if your program is needing any reporting information, You can still feel free to reach out to our agency customer service team for orders that were previously submitted in Agency Express. And again, we will go more in depth in that section as well. But just for a quick reference, here are the reports that we have built into the system so far. So for your specific program, if you're wanting to download and look at your previously submitted service statistics for a period of time, you can do so by clicking into the month and then, the month and year here, and then also for the end time frame as well. Additionally, there is an agency sales order summary and then an agency sales report as well. So we have some reporting functionality if you're wanting to download and get access to some different information for your specific program as well. So now what I'm going to do is we are going to go ahead and go through our first test case, which is going to be placing a new orders. And prior to jumping into that, give me 1 second here. I'm just going to navigate over. Whoops, sorry. Let's see here. I'm just trying to get back to my PowerPoint. There we go. Sorry about that. Okay, so a couple quick reminders regarding ordering for our new system as well. So orders can be started up to 10 business days in advance of delivery and pickup and edited until the order deadline, which is 2:30 p.m. 2 business days prior to delivery or pickup. So there aren't changes related to the order deadline and order window, excuse me. And then all orders are not processed within the system until they're actually submitted and you check out in the cart. So again, if you have those orders that are sitting in your unsubmitted order section, those are not processed because they're unsubmitted orders. And again, we'll review more of that information once we get into our test cases as well. And like I mentioned, unsubmitted orders will remain in your program account for 24 hours or until the order deadline, whichever comes first before items are returned to stock and the order is deleted. All orders for delivery and pickup must meet the 500-pound minimum for submission. Only one order may be placed for each day. If the order needs to be updated, the order can be edited. And please note that items in your cart are reserved during your shopping and editing process. So for example, if you submit an order, you go back in and edit it, those things that you already have in your cart are reserved for your program. So you don't lose any items if you open up your cart and edit it, excuse me. So we really wanted to make sure that was clear as well. And then the items that are available for your selected delivery day, and if it's for delivery and or pickup, excuse me, will show on this shopping list. So if you're wanting to add in additional perishable produce items, for example, you can actually go back in and edit your cart and add it to the days prior before the order deadline to make sure that you're getting that fresh produce and product added to your order as well. So now I'm going to jump us back over here to get us into our new order. So when I'm ready to place a new order, I'm going to go ahead and click new order here. And when you click on the new order page, again, there's a couple different things that you guys are going to notice. So here again, you will see all of the programs that you are associated with that you have access to. So for example, I am set up to be a shopper for a couple different programs. So a couple different things to note here. If your program, for example, has not entered their monthly service statistics by the 10th business day, by the 10th of the following month, your account will automatically go on hold and you must enter your service statistics in order to place an order. So you will see that here for whatever reason, if you forget to enter your statistics and you're not able to place an order, the system will tell you why you can't place an order. So that'll be here. And once you go ahead and enter in your service statistics, this will automatically update and you'll get the order button to be able to order for that account. The other thing I just wanted to briefly show is also related to blocked programs, or more specifically seasonal produce programs. So those programs who run seasonal produce programs typically between May to October and receive pallets of produce, you'll see that your program would be set to blocked. So you wouldn't be able to order because Second Harvest is placing that produce order for you, but you would be able to see what is on your order under your order history page as well. And you would be able to go in and enter your service statistics for your program as well. So I just wanted to point out those different statuses here so that, you know, again, if you're overdue for statistics, it'll show that in the system. It'll show here for the purposes of our training session, we're going to be utilizing ABC Food Shelf, and we are able to click on order and go into our appointment calendar now. So once we go ahead and click on order, we'll be brought into the appointment calendar. So here is where you will select if you are wanting a pickup or delivery. So we're going to go ahead and click delivery. The selected area, you'll want to go ahead and click on our Brooklyn Park warehouse. That's where, you know, the food is going to be coming from. And a couple different things to note about the calendar here. So what directly populates is, so for white, orders can be placed on the days where you can see white here on the calendar. And your program's approved delivery day or days will populate as options on the calendar. So for example, if my program is approved to receive deliveries on Wednesdays and Fridays, I'm going to see Wednesday and Friday as options for me to place an order for. So one thing to note, if your program is approved for a first or third or second or fourth week or fifth week of the month, you will see all of those options populate on the calendar. So when you're placing an order, you want to keep in mind what week of the month you're looking for. And we'd be happy to answer any more questions related to that as well. So for gray, as you'll see, if I try to click on it, I can't place an order for that date. So that means that date is unavailable. I'm not approved to receive a delivery on that date. If the order populates as green, as you see with this little color code up here, that means as it populates here on the 30th, that means I already have an order placed for that day. So if I want to edit anything with that order, I can actually go in and do that, but the system won't allow me to place a second order for that day because I already have one submitted. So again, you would just go in and edit that order if you're wanting to make any changes. Now this teal color here is if it's a holiday and if Second Harvest Heartland is going to be closed, you also wouldn't be able to place an order for that day as well. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the day that I want to order. So it'll populate there. The one thing to note, for example, if I try to click on a date here that's not within my 10 business day window, I will get this error message that says scheduling error. Please choose an appointment within the order window, and it'll give you what that 10-day business window is. So for example, you will see that if you continue to page over on the calendar, but then you will receive that error message that pops up here as well. So I am going to go ahead and page back over here. And let's go ahead and place an order for Friday. So we're going to go ahead and click on the day that we would like to place an order for, and we're going to go ahead and click begin order. Okay, so now we're brought into the shopping list. So you will see here the inventory that's available for your selected appointment time. Each item is listed, as you can see, with an item ID, a photo, if a photo is associated with the item and available, the description, the unit of measure, category, weight, price, maximum quantity, and the desired quantity. That's where you'd actually go ahead and enter in the quantity, and then the shopping cart functionality as well. Before we test and add some things to the cart, I do want to point out some different features and functions. So over here on the left-hand side, you will see some different filter options. So on the left-hand side, like I mentioned, you can have the categories to filter and narrow the displayed items here. So for example, you can choose from item category. If you want to look at purchase product only, if you only wanted to look at donated. If your program is TFAP approved, you'll also be able to search and look for TFAP product only as well. Product category, that's the type of product. So if you're wanting to look for meat or dairy, you can click on those specific filters to then have that populate within the shopping list as well. So for example, if I just want to look at donated product, I can click on that filter here. And then if I want to then continue to narrow it down and look at only donated cereal, I can do that again by clicking on cereal. And as you can see, it was narrowed down by donated and cereal. And then if you're wanting to clear out these filters, there's two options. You can either click on the X here, or you can clear all here. So I'm going to go ahead and clear all to bring us back to the list. And again, as you'll see here, so on-site, if you have a yes, that means that your program is approved to receive on-site product. So if you want to search for that specifically for on-site meal programs, for example, you would be able to do that as well. Storage requirements. So again, if you're wanting to specifically search for refrigerated product, dry product, or freezer product, that is an option to filter by as well. And then I'll bring us back to the top where we have a little magnifying glass here. So to search, you click on this magnifying glass here. It'll bring into the search bar that pops up, and you can search for a keyword or item to go in. So if I wanted to search for milk, I can go ahead and type that in and click go. And then it'll populate all of the items that have milk associated with it. So that's what I get here. So I'm going to go ahead and clear this out by the X button, and then it'll bring me back to our primary inventory list here. So again, like I mentioned, if there is a photo associated with a specific item number, or excuse me, an item, you will see the photo icon. So if we click on the photo icon, it'll actually pull out a pop-up window and bring up a picture of the item. And for training and testing purposes, this is just a stock photo. So this typically, if we had a photo associated with it, it would be what it looked like in our facility and what the item was. So again, this is just a stock photo for training purposes. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and place a test order. So I'm going to go ahead. I want to look for, let's see here. Let's look for some different juice options. And here, if you're wanting a couple things to note about how to add product onto your order. So there's two options for entering the quantity. You can use the little arrows here, or you can actually type in the box as well. So if I wanted to add 10, I can type that in, or I can use the arrows as well. And then if I would like to add that to the cart, I go ahead and click add to cart. And you will get a message that pops up that says successfully added to your cart. And if you would like to continue on with the process to check out, you would then click view cart. But for the purposes of our session, we want to go ahead and add some more things on to our list as well. So, and there's also, similar to Agency Express, there's pages at the bottom here that you can page over for inventory if our inventory moves on to the different sheets here. So let's go ahead and add, let's add some ground beef. So I'm going to go ahead and use the arrows this time, so I can click in here and go ahead and add my desired quantity for how much I would like to add on this order. And a quick thing to note here, the maximum quantity column, that is what is available for your specific appointment time. So for example, if I wanted to, let me find a better item here that doesn't have a bunch in there. We can kind of test what it would look like if I tried to add more than the maximum quantity available. So let's take this repack fish fillet as an example here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try to order 26 of these items here. Now you will, if you try to over order the maximum quantity available, you will get a notification that says you have exceeded the max orderable quantity for this item and it has been reduced. It'll automatically reduce it down here to what's available. And then if you would like to proceed with adding that, you go ahead and click on the cart button there. So I'm going to reduce this down a little bit and go ahead and add that to my cart here. There we go. So then the message changed over that it was successfully added. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and just add a couple other things to my cart here. So we can go ahead and view the cart and proceed with our checkout process. So as you'll note with how the shopping system is, you will need to click on the cart for each of the items that you're wanting to add to the cart. So that is a change that's different from Agency Express that I do want to call out specifically this morning. You do have to go ahead and click on the individual cart. So I'm going to go ahead and add some additional things on here. And let's see, maybe I would like to add, let's look at some pasta items here. We can go ahead and add some bean thread noodles. Okay, so once I'm done with my shopping, I'm going to go ahead and click View Cart. And this screen here is where I'll be able to see a summary of what I just put on my order. So a couple things to note up at the top here. It will have your appointment day. It'll have the agency and your program that you're ordering for. It'll have the estimated weight, the total, the appointment type. So we're getting a delivery. It's going to be out of our Brooklyn Park warehouse. And as you can see, this is what I currently have on my order. So a couple other things to note. In order to check out, you're going to want to go ahead and click on the checkout button here. As of right now, this order is unsubmitted and we need to fully go through the checkout process. If you're noticing, oh, like I would like to add something else onto my order, you can go ahead and click continue shopping and that'll bring you back to the shopping list. If you notice at this point in time, we actually don't want an order for the 25th, you can go ahead and cancel your appointment as well. And there's a couple reminders at the top here, just kind of reinforcing that the order has not been processed until you go ahead and click on checkout and you're brought to the checkout screen. And then again, another reminder that the order hasn't been processed yet, excuse me, and to please make sure that your estimated weight meets that 500-pound minimum. So we're going to go ahead and click checkout here. And this will bring us to the checkout screen. So again, you want to double check your order to make sure everything is correct here and you have everything you need on your shopping list. So now what we want to go ahead and do is we'll scroll down. So again, information is listed at the top for you. So appointment type delivery, your shipping address will populate if you are receiving a delivery. If this order is for pickup, the shipping address will not populate since it's just a pickup order. Okay, so then the information that you're going to want to enter below here is delivery receiver. So this is information for the person that is going to be on site specifically for this order. So for example, you know, we would use this information, our transportation team or the driver would use this information if for whatever reason the driver is running behind for the day, if for whatever reason the driver shows up to your program location and no one is there. So this is day of, I would say, contact information that we will pass directly to our driver and transportation team. So this will be extremely helpful for the drivers. Like I mentioned, if they show up and no one is on site, or if they're running a little bit behind and want to give you a heads up as well. So I'm going to go ahead and enter in my name, a phone number, and email address. So a couple things to note, you do need to go ahead and enter in a 10-digit mobile phone number for this to go through. And then again, for email, you do need to have an email address that also you have the @ symbol in there as well. You don't need to add the dashes when you're entering in the phone number here. And if, for example, I forget to enter one of these fields and click place order, you will get an error message that you have to go ahead and enter in that required information. So I'm going to go ahead and retype that in here. And a couple other things, as you'll note, so payment method, it defaults to invoice. If from here you need to edit your cart for whatever reason, you can go ahead and click edit cart and it'll take you back to be able to edit your cart or add things. Here you will also see again the estimated weight and then the total before fees. So this is before any potential applicable fees, delivery fees, things like that would be added. So now that we are ready and we filled out all of the required information, I'm going to go ahead and click place order. And it's just processing here. And like I mentioned, the sandbox is a little slow, so that's why it's taking a little bit to load, but in the once we go live, it won't be that slow. So then here you will be brought back to your confirmation page. So again, it'll say, you know, thank you for shopping with us. It gives you the order number. It lets you know that you'll receive a confirmation email. And then again, you'll receive 1 business day prior to your order, you will get an email confirming your delivery window as well. So we have successfully placed an order within the system. If you're wanting to you know, review that order for whatever reason, you can go back to program account, and then you would go under the order history page here. So we can see the order that we just placed for the 25th is here. Sales order number 400. So again, if you would like to go ahead and edit that, you can do so by clicking into it. Okay, so now the next test case that we're going to be moving into is editing an existing order. So what we're going to want to go ahead and do is we're going to edit an existing order that we have already for ABC Food Shelf. But if, for example, you're wanting to edit an order for a different program, you would do so by clicking into that specific program. So it brings you into that process as well. So what we're going to want to do is you're going to want to go ahead and click on the order number here. And that'll bring us into the editing order functionality. So again, a couple things to note. It has high level summary information up at the top here. This is also a place where you can print the page as well. So if you click print, it'll open into a PDF that you can then proceed with printing. If you would like to cancel your order, you can do so by clicking on the cancel order button. If you would like to change or edit anything with an existing order, what you're going to want to do is go ahead and click edit order. Okay, so then the edit order functionality, a couple things to note before we change some things around with the edit order. So the items that you have on your order will populate here up at the top for you. So it's a reference point for what you currently have already on order. So if you're just wanting to simply change a quantity with what you already have on order, there's a couple different options. You can simply click the X button to remove what you already have on order, or if you would like to change the quantity, you can click in similar to the shopping list where you can either type in the number or use the arrow functionality to adjust the quantity available. So for example, if we wanted to change and we only wanted, let's see, if we only wanted 1 case, we can go ahead and update that. And again, you would receive an update that it's been successfully updated. Now, if we wanted to completely remove something from the order, like I said, we can go ahead and click on the X button and it'll remove that off of the shopping list. So a couple other things to note with the editing order functionality. So if you're wanting to search for specific items or add additional things onto the list, we do have the search functionality here. You can also scroll down and see the full inventory list as well. So a couple other things to note, the items that you had originally placed on your order will also populate here under this section for reference. So it populates in 2 different spots. So you'll see it here up at the top under ordered items, excuse me, and then you'll also see it here at the top of the catalog items. Now, a couple things to also point out, as I'm sure you can see here visually, it doesn't automatically bring you into the shopping list when you were initially shopping for your appointment. So the functionality is a little bit different. We don't have the filters over on the left-hand side, as you can see, but we still have the search functionality, and we've brought in some of those filters here so that you can still see under category, product category, and storage type. So I wanted to point those things out as well, so you can still see and have access to that information. So if we wanted to search for an item and add it on, so if we wanted, let's see, what do we already have on our order here? If we wanted to see if we had any bread, let's go ahead and start typing in bread. It looks like nothing is there. Let's look for some milk here. So if you start typing in a phrase here, it'll populate based on the item description. It'll populate everything that we have that has milk associated with the description. And again, if there's a photo, it would populate in the thumbnail here, but the relevant information still populates. So we have the unit of measure, the weight, and also the price. So if I wanted to go ahead and add this purchased coconut milk to my order, I would click on it. It'll automatically bring it in here, and you can adjust the quantity if I wanted to add it there, and click add order. And then we can see that it's brought up to the above. So if we would like to, let's see, if we want to add, we can kind of scroll the list here. And if we wanted to add, let's see, let's scroll a little bit further, maybe get out of some of the TFAT products. If we wanted to add some pancake syrup, so I can click in, and I'm going to go ahead and click the arrow up. And then you'll get that message again that the item has been successfully added to your cart. So I can scroll to the top if I want to verify that, or again, change any quantity. If we wanted to increase that to 2, we can go ahead and do that here as well. Now, again, like I mentioned, you will see that this is visually different and the functionality is different as well. One thing we are working on with our develop is to continue to improve this editing order functionality to make sure that it's the same user experience when you're initially shopping. So just know that this is something that we are continuing to work on and we'll be developing out. So it is the same user experience as when you're initially shopping from the inventory list. So having those additional filters, things like that as well. So I do just want to call that out because we do recognize that this is a different experience when you're editing your order versus when you're initially shopping. So we wanted to let you guys know that we are working on this to make it the same experience and continue to improve the process as well. So now that I am done editing my order, I've added on my milk and pancakes, and then I've removed my other item as well. The one thing that is really key that we want to point out, you do need to scroll down to the bottom to click on submit order changes. And again, we recognize that this isn't the same experience, but this is something that we are working on. In order to actually save your edits, you need to scroll all the way to the bottom to go ahead and click on save. And you can see here that it is saving. Okay, so now we can see that the order has saved. I will get that successful message. If I want to see my updates, I can go ahead and click see your updated order. And then it'll bring me back here to that initial screen that we were on. So I can see the things that I have gone ahead and changed with my order. Again, if I want to continue to edit it or make any additional changes, I would click back in to edit order and go through that process as well. Okay, so I'm mindful of time and I want to make sure that we still have a good 25-30 minute for questions. So I'm going to go through now how to enter service statistics and also paying an invoice. So hang on here. We're going to go ahead and put up some reminders about service statistics. So before we jump into entering service statistics, like I mentioned, service statistic reports are due 10 business days past the reporting month. So for example, January statistics are due by February 10th. You have to report on food that's distributed and served by your program for all food sources. You want to go ahead and report every month. If your program is a seasonal program or it's not in service, you still want to go ahead and enter zeros. Like I mentioned as well, if you don't enter the service statistics by the 10th of the month, your program will be put on hold, but that hold will be lifted as soon as you enter in your service statistics. For food rescue statistics, you will still enter those on Meal Connect as well, so that will not be within Heartland Hub. So we wanted to share that out as well. So I'm going to take us back here to service statistics quickly. And if I want to go ahead and enter in service statistics, I click on service stats and I click create. So here, what you're, there's a couple different things that you'll notice at the top. So we do have additional instructions and information hyperlinked for your convenience. Um, the below form, just so you guys know, this is for food shelf and grocery giveaway programs. The statistics form for meal and prepared food programs is tailored specifically to those service requirements. So for today's demonstrations, this is our example. What we're going to want to go ahead and do here is click on the service month and service year that we're entering statistics for. So we're going to go ahead and test and enter stats for August of 2022. And a couple other things to note on this field as well. So it's broken out by regular visits in the top section, extra visits in the middle section here, and then first time visits as well. And everything with the red asterisk is required to go ahead and enter. So if your program is not in service for the month, like I mentioned, you would want to go ahead and enter 0. And then the field here where it says your last submission was for, and then it inserts a month and year. This is the month and year for the statistics you previously submitted within Heartland Hub or that you previously were editing, for example. So I will go ahead and explain that a little bit more once we go ahead and enter in these test statistics. So I'm going to go ahead and start entering in my information here. You can also click directly into the field or use the arrows as well. So just pointing that out for reference. If we didn't have any extra visits, I'm just going to go ahead and enter 0. Enter 5 for first time visits. And the comment section here, this is for any notes directly related to your monthly service stats. So if you have questions or inquiries related to your stats, please contact our agency customer service team. And you can do so by, there's 2 hyperlinks, one at the bottom here that links directly to our orders at toharvest.org email, or one at the top here as well. So once I've gone ahead and entered in my information, I'm going to go ahead and click submit. Now you will briefly get a message up at the top here that says you've successfully submitted your service statistics. And then what happens is it'll automatically bring you to the service statistics history page. So on this page, you can see all of the service statistics that you've entered for this specific program within Heartland Hub. If you're wanting to view or edit anything, you can do so by clicking on the button here. So if we wanted to edit those statistics that we just entered for August, you can do so by clicking into it. And one thing I want to note here, again, you'll see at the top, the last submission I had was for August 2022. So again, that's the last time that you edited or entered information on the form here. So if I wanted to update this to say we actually served 55 households and update our poundage here, I can do so by clicking submit. And again, you'll get that notification that you've successfully submitted your statistics, and it'll bring you back to the history page. A couple other things to note: you can't enter 2 entries for the same month. If you need to edit anything related to your statistics, you would just go ahead and click edit in order to do that. You can edit these service statistics for a 12-month period. So just note that as well. If you notice, that there was something off with your March statistics, you can actually go back in and edit those statistics as well. So I wanted to point that out as well. And again, as the entries, the more we use Heartland Hub, the more entries we'll have in here, and it will just page over if there's previously submitted statistics as well. So they won't go away. You'll still be able to view those. And once you've gone ahead and entered your stats or viewed them, you can simply navigate away from this page as well. So now we'll quickly go into the invoice section here. So any invoices that populate, like we mentioned, you can view both open and paid invoices. So if you're looking to pay a specific invoice, you're going to want to click on all invoices here. And like I mentioned, invoices will be posted on Heartland Hub the morning of delivery and pickup, and they'll also continue to still be emailed to the billing contact for your program or agency as well. So we're going to go ahead and click into invoice. Okay, so then again, it'll have pertinent information up at the top here. It'll have the items that were on that specific invoice. And in order for us to either print, if you're wanting to print the PDF, or if you're wanting to move forward with payment, you're going to want to click on the button here. And like I said, things are a little slow, and then it'll automatically open to a PDF file of that specific invoice where again, you can review that information. And then the link to pay will be a direct link that's linked within the invoice. So if we want to move forward with payment, I will click to pay now. And it's just loading, and it'll bring me into the page where that I can then proceed with paying the specific invoice. So that is how, again, you would just enter in that credit card information, the billing information here, and then go ahead and submit payment. For right now, we're not going to go ahead and do that, but I at least wanted to show what that screen will look like. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and navigate back here and go back to the home section. And I'm seeing that we have a lot of questions and comments in the chat as well. So those were the 4 test cases that we wanted to review with everyone this morning. So how to place an order, how to edit an order, how to submit service statistics, and then also paying an invoice as well. So now for the remainder of the time that we have together this morning, we will open it up to a Q&A portion. So I'll first start with Allie. Are there specific questions that we wanted to first start with that came up in the chat?
Yes, I'm seeing a lot in there right now about payments. So you can definitely still pay by check over to our address. That's totally possible still. You have been paying by credit, debit card, those kind of online options. You're now able to do them directly from Heartland Hub, but you do not have to if that is not your preferred payment method.
Great, good questions. Yes, like Allie mentioned, those are definitely still options, but we just wanted to showcase the newer functionality with paying an invoice and how that's directly linked with Heartland Hub as well. Are there some other questions we wanted to start with, Allie, as well, or should we just open it up if anyone wants to unmute and jump in too?
Hey, Leah, what about their checking account? So like their routing information. Rob asked that.
Good question. Let's actually go back into that and see. Give me 1 second here. Let's navigate into that. Okay, so if we click on pay now, let's see if there is like a drop down where you can, yes. So let's see. Yep, if you were wanting, you can go ahead and link in the account and routing information. It is a drop down menu here. So if you're wanting to pay from your organization's business account, you can do so by just simply clicking the payment method option and arrowing, between either a credit card or if you're wanting to pay directly from an account. Great question.
Thanks. And then we have another question here in the chat, and it has come up a few times before about filtering by price for items. So in the original creating a new order section, you can filter by price low to high there. However, in the edit order screen at this point in time, you cannot filter by price, unfortunately. But here you can filter by price low to high or high to low as well. Also, as you can see in there, there is a relevance, but that doesn't actually filter it by much.
Yeah, another great question. And like I was mentioning for that edit order functionality, that is something that we are working on to continue to develop out so it is the same user experience. So you would be able to filter and sort by price point. So again, that's something we're working on, and we know that we want it to be the same experience. So great feedback. But yes, you can filter by price functionality when you're initially shopping. Are there any other questions, Allie, that kind of came up multiple times that we want to address before opening it up to anyone to ask anything?
Let's see. And there's just a few people were wondering about when TFAP items are added and editing the order. So when editing the order, you can always search for TFAP items by typing in TFAP. All of the TFAP items have that prefix, so they'll automatically show up when you start typing in TFAP. There.
Yeah, another great question in here. We can kind of demonstrate that. So if you start typing in TAF, it'll start bringing up those items here.
Yes, and it looks like a few people maybe are confused. This list down here in the edit order screen is the full list. Currently, it looks a little small because these are just test items, so the full inventory isn't there. But the full inventory will show up in the catalog items for you all to see on the edit order screen as well.
Yeah, another great question. And the other thing I wanted to point out as well in our training materials, we are hoping to create like a quick guide, and that's where we would share some quick tips for if you are editing your order and wanting to search by a specific product type. We can go ahead and we'll share that out as well to try to help the search functionality and for ease of use to try to navigate the editing order page as it stands, right now as well. Any other themes we're noticing in questions? If not, we can definitely open it up for anyone who either wants to unmute and ask any questions, or feel free to continue to drop any questions in the chat, and we can go over those, or we can review additional test cases as well.
So we have a couple questions about standing orders for produce. I did put an answer in the chat. If you have a standing order for produce pallets and it comes on the same day as your food shelf order under the same account, we will add it after the deadline, so it won't affect you trying to place an order for that day. But if your program account is just for produce, you can see the account on Heartland Hub, but you won't be able to edit any of those orders.
Thanks, Megan. Yeah, if we navigate over to the produce account and we look at order history, we can see a test order that we went ahead and put in. So you can see what produce we would have on order for you. So you can always reference this and print it if you would like. So you will be able to go ahead and see those orders that we have placed on your behalf for those seasonal produce distribution programs as well. So another great question.
Hi, I have a question. What is the shelf life of, like, say, the produce? Is it good quality produce, or are we looking at stuff that's an example? We, as an arch, received a bunch of grapefruit. We ended up wasting all of them because they sat on a truck for so long and they froze, and they ended up molding and rotting.
Yeah, great question. So the produce that will be on inventory, a couple different things. So let me actually go in to the account here, and give me 1 second. So like we've shared in some of our communication, that is one of the things we're excited about, is moving produce to be orderable, on Heartland Hub. So you know, when you initially start your order, if you're starting it within closer to like 10 business days out, you will be able to see that hardier produce available to order. So that would be, you know, the onions, potatoes, apples, things like that as well. But as you get closer to your order date, we will continue to add in more perishable produce items that you can add onto your order. So we would recommend that you check, you know, 3 to 4 days in advance to your order if you're wanting to add some additional produce, or look to see if there's additional produce on inventory, because those do have shorter shelf life. But we would be adding those onto inventory as we have them and they're available, and they would still be of good quality for when your appointment date is for. Did that help answer your question? I'm sorry, you might have cut out a little bit.
Yes, it did.
Okay, okay. Great. Any, Allie or Megan, any other questions kind of popping up in the chat? Or if not, if folks have other questions, please feel free to just unmute yourselves or also put it in the chat as well, and we'll review it together.
So I am unmuted. I do have a question in regards to the produce. So normally we are a facility who doesn't have to order produce. So we get like an automatic, I don't know if they call it like a share. I don't have to like order produce, right? Do we still get the regular Second Harvest share? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, so for our produce subscription program, is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, like we automatically get that. Whenever we place an order, we automatically get produce, whatever you have.
Yeah, so our produce
Well,
subscription.
Leah,
Oh, I'm sorry.
is
Yeah.
is it small case amounts or is it a pallet?
It's pallets.
Which
Like we are a
program you-
large distribution center and we usually have a full semi.
Oh, are you with the share program, like a food mobile?
Yes, so we are
Okay.
with the share. I believe that's what it's called. I'm not 100% sure. I don't believe I have my
Yeah.
my director on here.
Okay, those ones will stay the same. We set those up internally. And mostly you'll just use Heartland Hub for reporting statistics.
Okay, so I can still order my regular meat and stuff and I'll still receive the other produce to the share. Okay.
I'm trying to think, typically the food mobiles don't have ordering.
Yeah, what
No,
will-
I do order. I just don't normally order produce. I usually get everything in like a bulk pallets of that, but I can double check.
Yeah, if you want to email the orders at toharvest.org with maybe some more program information and the situation, and we can answer you offline.
Okay, thank you.
We have a question.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I think there was 2 folks trying to talk at the same time.
What about the subscription on produce? Will that stay the same?
Great question. So for our produce subscription program, so that is for, you know, programs who were receiving subscriptions, so that smaller case counted produce that was automatically added to your order. What we're doing is we are sunsetting that program, and programs can now actually order that produce directly on Heartland Hub. So you now have the ability to order the variety that you want and also the cases that you want as well. And if you're wanting a reference point as far as what did you typically receive on previous orders, so that you know what to order to maintain that same amount, please email us at orders@toharvest.org and we can help get you that information as well. But we are sunsetting our produce subscription program, and in turn putting that produce directly on Heartland Hub for our partners to order themselves for the quantities and varieties. So it'll give you guys some more flexibility to pick and choose what you would like versus Second Harvest automatically adding it to your order.
But that does not affect the pallet orders for produce. So there's 2 different options for subscriptions. So the smaller case packed items will be already on inventory to order.
Yeah, great clarification again. And we did send out a communication to those programs affected by the sunset of case counted produce as well. So again, if you have any specific questions related to how your program is currently receiving produce and how that'll work in the future, please don't hesitate to email us, and we can help walk you through that process as well to help clarify any questions as well.
So if you're on the subscription one, are you still able to order any of the produce that is listed, or is there gonna be certain ones?
You'll be able to order the produce that's online. Yes. Mhm.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
Hello, I have a question concerning delivery.
Yeah.
Usually on the order form, I'm writing on there to let me know if the truck is going to be more than like 30 minutes late. We have older volunteers that help unload this thing. And if for some reason the truck is going to be like an hour or an hour and a half late, they take off, and then we have to, there's like only 2 people there to undo this thing. So is there a way to make sure that the delivery person is going to contact me, because I usually put my phone number on that order form, contact me if the truck is going to be more than half an hour late? Thank you.
Yes, we will still follow procedures for how we notify programs. If a truck is running late for whatever reason, you will still receive that information from our team. You know, if a truck is running behind, if we need to adjust anything for the route, that delivery receiver information that you enter in on the order, that's really, the driver will use that, like I mentioned, for rare occasions. For example, if you know, he shows up to, if the driver shows up to your program and no one is there, he would give that person a call to then say, you know, hey, I'm here. Or if for whatever reason, you know, the route starts off, everything is good. And if he maybe gets hung up at a location and is going to be, you know, 15, 20 minutes late, they could potentially give you a call related to that as well. But for route delays, or if things are going to be changing, again, that will still continue to communicate that, you know, upfront with folks as well, so you know about it.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions, Allie, kind of popping up in the chat? Or again, if anyone wants to unmute, feel free to do that as well.
I have something regarding the actual use of the ordering part of the hub.
Yeah.
When you're searching, and let's say you're searching TFAP, and you put a few items in and hit cart, and then you go over to the left column and say you put milk, you're still only going to get TFAP milk, because that never you always have to clear that before you search something else. I noticed when we were testing it.
Yeah,
it can get confusing.
Yeah, that's a great call out. So let's go through that example. So if you are filtering and you're just looking at TFAP product here, and if we add a couple things onto the cart, and then if we want to go ahead and get back to the inventory, or excuse me, if we wanted to, sorry, clicked on the wrong button there. If we clear all, that'll bring you back here. But let's see, let's look at TFAP again, and then sorry, if we wanted to search, wanted to look for milk here. Okay, and then if we filtered by TFAP, and then if we clear this, it'll bring, yes. So one thing to note, if you initially search for something, if we searched for milk and then we clear that TFAP filter, then it'll populate back to what you had originally searched for. And if you click into the magnifying glass, then it'll refresh and bring you back to the inventory list. So yes, that's a good call out, that if you're using the magnifying search functionality and the filters, that's one thing to be mindful of, is you know, if you want to make sure you clear the filters and then click back into the search function to make sure that you're being fully brought back to the shopping list. Any other questions, Allie, kind of coming through the chat? Or I know we still have about 5-6 minutes here. If there's also any other questions that are popping up as well.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
What, until now, we were only allowed to have 2 email addresses where everything would be communicated. But now it looks like we can have a whole bunch more.
Yes, that is something that we're excited for with the new system that we're moving to, is we will have the ability to have specific contacts assigned, so it won't be lumped together in like one email field. So we can pull out and you know, send pertinent information related to billing directly to the billing folks who need it. We can
that brings me to another question. We have always been paying on statements, and we have to get it in the mail immediately when we get the statement. Otherwise, we've been locked out a couple times because the mail was so slow. So can we still pay on statement, or you have to pay one invoice at a time?
You can, you'll still get that monthly statement at the end of every month, and you can pay off of there if you want as well.
Okay, and now we can use a credit card. So
Yes, if you want to.
really good, because we tried to, you know, pay online and we couldn't get that to work. So this will be wonderful.
Good. Right, and then also a question that has been coming up is when we can get into all of this. So Heartland Hub will be going live, and you'll all be able to log in early in the morning on Monday, April 4th. And that is when orders can start being placed in there. And as a quick reminder, any order for April 6th and beyond has to be placed in Heartland Hub, since that's where the inventory is going to be for those orders. It will live there. But if you have any questions about that, feel free to let us know as well. And then someone had a question in the chat about emails and shoppers, and that yes, since this system uses your email address as your login, each shopper for your program will need to have a unique email on file with us so they can log in to Heartland Hub themselves.
Whoops, sorry, I got an email pulled up here that I need to, give me 1 second. I'm gonna reshare my screen here.
Yes, if you click contact us, it'll automatically pull up an email so you can reach out easily, hopefully.
Yes, thank you for that, Allie. Okay, let's see. Here we go, back to the screen share. Okay, and I know we're approaching time here, and I want to be respectful of everyone's time. I will just throw out, and we'll put these in the chat as well. All of our Heartland Hub conversion timeline and training materials is linked out on Agency Zone for reference as well. So we do currently have a landing page that reviews the conversion timeline, our previous communications, the links to register for our online training sessions, as well as our training materials as well. So we wanted to just point this out again for reference as well. And then another thing to note is as we go live, please, as you guys are able to log in and view the system, please readily share feedback with us. Like I mentioned, we were able to test this with agency partners, and we received a lot of great feedback, and we're working on our list of recommendations to work with the developer to start working on once we go live. But we would love to continue to hear from our agency partners about their shopping experience, because we really want to make sure that it's a great experience for you guys. And if you're noticing things or have suggestions, like I mentioned, please don't hesitate to reach out and share that information with us so we can continue to improve the system and make updates. But we are very excited for our new shopping system, and we're excited that it's you'll be able to shop, you'll be able to enter your service statistics and pay invoices. So we are very excited for you guys to all get access to that coming up here on April 4th. So I will stop sharing my screen here. I will, we are at time, it's 10:15. Like I mentioned at the beginning, we will go ahead and share out the recordings of our training sessions, and all of our training materials are linked out on Agency Zone as well. I will stick around for about 5 to 10 minutes. I'm happy to hang out if there are any additional questions, or if anyone wants to talk through anything specifically. I will be online for about another 5 to 10 minutes. But thank you so much, everyone, for joining and coming to our training session. We are very excited, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and week. So thanks, everyone.
Hi, Leah. Can you hear me?
Yes, hi.
Awesome. My name is Ashley. I have a question regarding the timeline.
Yeah.
So I see under shopping, it says that shopping is unavailable from March 26th to April 3rd. So does that mean that next week we cannot place an order?
Yeah, give me 1 second here. I'm actually gonna
Yeah.
let me screen share Allie here. Let me
Yeah,
we
here
go.
I can share a timeline here. So Agency Express will close for shopping at the end of the day on Friday. This Friday? No. Which week are we in? Sorry. It will close at the end of the day on March 25th. So any orders for March 28th, 29th, or April 4th or 5th should be placed in Agency Express before then. And then all shopping will be closed that next week from the end of the day on the 25th until Heartland Hub goes live early in the morning on April 4th.
Okay. So if we normally get deliveries on Tuesdays.
Mhm.
So if we want a delivery on the 5th, we would have to place that order this week before Friday at the end of day.
Yes, that is
Okay.
correct.
Okay, so just for simplicity, we should place 2 orders this week, one for next Tuesday and one for the following Tuesday.
Correct.
Okay, perfect. That makes sense. Thank you very much.
Good.
Yeah, great question, Ashley.
Thanks.
And then I'll answer Jean and Nita's question as well about editing each other's orders. And yes, you can edit each other's orders. You'll be able to see them both in your Heartland Hub accounts, as long as you're all linked to each other's, to all the same programs. You'll be able to see all of the orders and edit them.
Good question, Jean. Let's see. Is there anything else that's coming up, Allie?
I had a question because we had it posted for 2:30. So Friday, March 25th by 2:30, which is typically the order deadline. But we are processing orders past then. Allie, can you just clarify? End of day versus 2:30 on Friday for getting orders in for April 4th and 5th and that kind of thing.
The deadline for all orders for April 4th and 5th is 2:30 p.m. on Friday, March 25th. But you'll still be able to look at Agency Express until the end of the day. And you'll still be able to view Agency Express after that as well. Like your existing orders, you'll still be able to see them in there. Orders just must be submitted by the order deadline by 2:30 p.m. on March 25th.
Any other questions we can help answer for anyone else still hanging out on the line? Like I said, we're still happy to answer maybe any specific questions you have related to your program or just in general. We can hang out for another 5 minutes or so if anyone has any other specific questions. Jean, I know you mentioned at the beginning of our session, you guys had some questions written down or you had printed off some of the materials. Did we answer all your questions or did you guys specifically have any other questions for us?
Some of them were answered just automatically and others
Okay.
I didn't ask, so we've got our answers.
Okay,
And
awesome.
we feel confident that we can get going here.
Good, good. I just wanted to make sure that I checked in with you because I know you mentioned you had some additional questions. So great, I'm glad.
Through
We
them
got-
and you did very well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Oh, one more little question.
Yeah.
Now, when we look back historically at our invoices, will we be able to see the extended dates?
The extended dates on the product specifically, is that what you're
Right,
referencing?
on products that we bought earlier, maybe 2 or 3 weeks earlier. Right now, we're keeping paper copies of our orders just so that we can backtrack and verify extended dates. You know, you find a box once in a while that is expired, but we know that we had some extension on it, on that product, and we are keeping our old packing slips, and sometimes some of the dates are cut off already. So my question is, will we be able to look backwards at our purchase orders and see extended dates?
Yes, so all of that information will show up on the sales orders in Heartland Hub. So you can click on them and see them there. If you want to
Good.
print them out, you totally can, and it will all
Yeah,
show
we
up
don't,
there
we
for
don't
you.
mind having to hunt for them, but now we won't have to keep all this paper.
Yes, you'll be able to find them.
Super, thank you.
Good question, Jean.
Mhm.
Any other questions from folks still online? I want to make sure we get to you if you do have any lingering questions. So just feel free to unmute or throw it in the chat and we'll give everyone a couple more minutes before we kind of officially sign off. But I will just put it out there again. If you do have any specific questions related to the new system and how it'll affect your program specifically, please don't hesitate to reach out. We are happy to answer those questions and walk you through it and really make sure you have a good understanding of the new system so you can shop successfully. So yeah, we'll hang out here for another minute or so and then I'll end the meeting. Yeah, thanks again everyone for for jumping on this morning. We appreciate you taking the time to hop on the training session and bear with us as we guide everyone through it. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and end our meeting this morning. But like I said, if anyone has questions, please feel free to reach out to us. And we will continue to share updates on where things are at. And we'll be sending out user information next week. So thanks, everyone. Have a great morning. Bye.